Is it visible, my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. So the topic which is allotted to me for the presentation, that is cyber jurisprudence and electronic commerce. So in these 2 hours, I will be talking about the concept of cyber jurisprudence. Also, I will be discussing the various types of cyber crimes which are provided under the Information Technology Act, as well as I'll be discussing the concept of electronic commerce. Also, what are the various threats in cyberspace with respect to e-commerce, and at the end, I'll be discussing what precautions we should take while doing any online transactions, or what precaution has to be taken for prevention of cybercrime. So let's start. So cyber jurisprudence, basically, as we know that jurisprudence, it is the study of philosophy and law. And when it comes to cyber jurisprudence, it is the study of laws which is directly related to cyber crimes. Now, when I talk about cyber crimes are given from section 65 onwards under the Information Technology Act, which has been enacted in the year 2000 for prevention of cyber crimes. Cyber jurisprudence, it describes the principles of legal issues, what legal issues may come whenever a cybercrime takes place in cyberspace. So cyber jurisprudence also deals about it. It also regulates the cyberspace and internet. Now, as we know that cyberspace, it is a virtual world, it is an online world, and internet, it can be accessed by any person by sitting in any corner of the world. And if he commits any cybercrime, then sometimes it becomes difficult for the law enforcement agencies to catch that criminal as well as to punish him. And if the law enforcement agencies could, if they want to punish him, then another question also arises that which law will be applicable, etc. So there are multiple issues with respect to cyber jurisprudence. Now, when I talk about cyber law, which is also known as the information technology law or internet law, it is a law which relates to computer, internet, and cyberspace related issues. As I said initially, that cyberspace is a borderless, it has no any jurisdiction. And when it comes to India, so the Parliament of India has enacted the Information Technology Act in the year 2000. Now, initially, when the Indian Penal Code was drafted in the year 1860, as you might have already studied the Indian Penal Code, which was drafted in the year 1860 and came into effect from 1862. So there were no computers, there was no any internet. However, the need was felt as the computers came, there was a growth of technology, and therefore the need was felt to have a comprehensive legislation. Accordingly, the Information Technology Bill 1999, it was put up before the Parliament, and then we have this Information Technology Act, which does not talk only about the cyber crimes. It also talks about concepts of electronic commerce, concept of electronic governance, etc. If you see, after the enactment of this IT Act, it was amended in the year 2008, and several provisions were also inserted under this act. To certain extent, these provisions and sections are helpful, but there are so many lacunas under the Information Technology Act or gray areas where particular offense or cyber crimes, they are not mentioned. So as I said, that cyberspace has no any geographic boundaries. That is also one of the challenges in front of us. Now, why there is a need for cyber law? Even that has to be looked into. First, for prevention of cyber crimes, because Indian Penal Code, it's not going to help you whenever any cyber crime is committed. because in IPC, all traditional crimes are given, like offenses against human being, etc., offenses against property, offenses against state, and so on. But what about the crimes against computer? Crime which can be committed with the help of computer, mobiles, and for that we have to rely on the information technology law. We have to rely on this cyber law. So prevention of cybercrime is one of the objective of cyber law, and therefore the IT Act has been enacted. Further, to recognize the electronic and digital signature. Now let us try to understand the concept of electronic and digital signature, because IT Act has given the legal recognition to electronic signature as well as digital signature. Now legal recognition means it has given the validity. If any electronic document is signed with the help of any digital signature or electronic signature, then it is admissible in the court of law. The court cannot deny it. In digital signature, if you see, the asymmetric cryptography system is used. It may look little bit complicated. In asymmetric cryptography system, there are two keys, that is private key and public key. With the help of public key, we can verify the digital signature. On the other hand, with the help of private key, we can create the digital signature. Now, people like you and me, we don't use this digital signature. Basically, digital signature is used by the government while issuing tenders, or it is used by few chartered accountants, etc. And it is very much difficult to tamper this digital signature compared to the electronic signature. So private key and public is used in digital signature. That is the first major point of differentiation, because in electronic signature, this asymmetric cryptography system is not used. Then what could be the examples of electronic signature? For example, whenever you purchase any goods or products online, maybe through Amazon or through any e-commerce website, then that delivery boy, he comes to your doorstep and he asks you for the acknowledgement. He will ask you to sign on that tablet, on that mobile. So you just, with the help of your finger, you put your sign. That is one of the example of electronic signature. And handwritten signature, that we know very well, where we put on any document and the document is authenticated. So similarly, electronic and digital signatures are also used on electronic document for the purpose of authentication, so that person later on cannot deny that he has not signed that document digitally, etc., or that is not his electronic signature. Therefore, the IT Act has also given the legal recognition to both these signatures. Then, to promote e-commerce and e-governance, that's why there is also need of cyber law. E-commerce is nothing but buying or selling the goods online. Nowadays, we don't have to go to the shop, we don't have to stand in the queue, etc. Simply, whatever goods we want, we can purchase it through this e-commerce website and it will be delivered at our doorstep. So we are entering into online contracts with these e-commerce websites, and the Information Technology Act has given the validity to these electronic contracts as well as has given the validity to the transactions which are carried through this e-commerce. So there is a separate chapter also under the Information Technology Act which talks about legal recognition to e-commerce, as well as there is a separate chapter under the IT Act which talks about electronic governance. And what is an electronic governance? It is nothing but an initiative which is taken by the government of India to facilitate the these online transactions or filing applications in an online mode to the government offices or agencies. For example, if you want to register for a passport, In that case, now you don't have to go to the office physically. You can do it simply by sitting at home, maybe with the help of laptop or with the help of mobile. You can just open that website www.passport.gov.in. You can fill up your details, etc. If you want to file your income tax, you can also do it in an online mode. If you want to book tickets, etc. of RCTC train, you can also do it in an online mode. So these are all the initiatives taken by the government of India. Here the land records are also now digitized. You don't have to go to the offices. If you want details of your property, you can also find it in online mode. So that is the concept of electronic governance. Then cyber law also plays a crucial role to protect intellectual property in cyberspace. It is often observed that intellectual property, that is copyright, trademark, to certain extent, they are also violated in cyberspace. You may find a software piracy, downloading pirated movies, etc., as well as violation of trademark by creating domain names in bad faith. It is also an example of this violation of intellectual property in cyberspace. But to my mind, the IT Act, that is the Information Technology Act, has failed to address the issues with respect to violation of intellectual property in cyberspace, and it has to be revised again. This IT Act, because lastly it was amended in the year 2008, and as such there are no any amendments or changes which is highly required to meet all these challenges and issues. Then for our data protection and privacy, there is a need for cyber law, because now data, it is considered as a gold today, which can be misused by any person or which can be sold to third party without our consent. And data, it may include your telephone number, it may include your Aadhaar details, or it may include any other personal information. So for data protection, there is a need for cyber law. And in India, the data protection bill 2019, it is pending before the parliament. So very soon it will be converted into an act, and to a certain extent, our privacy will be protected. Because if you remember, in one of the landmark case, that is Justice Puttaswamy versus Union of India, the Supreme Court has categorically said that right to privacy is now a fundamental right enshrined under Article 21 of the Constitution. But again, it is not an absolute right. There are certain restrictions. What type of restrictions? For example, government can monitor the activities of any individual for the purpose of any investigation. The law enforcement agencies may have the access to your laptop, etc. If the law enforcement agencies thinks that the cybercrime has been committed from that particular laptop, so at that point of time, we cannot say that it is a violation of privacy, because these are the reasonable restrictions which are put on the right to privacy. Then moving forward, now let's try to understand the concept of cybercrime, because cyber jurisprudence is nothing but directly related to cyber crimes or a cyber law. So cybercrime is a crime where computer is used as a target or a tool to commit a crime. I mean to say that with the help of computer, a cybercrime can be committed, or computer itself can be a target of the cybercrime. How a computer can be itself a target of cybercrime? For example, if any malware is introduced into any computer system by a cyber criminal, then that computer is affected. It may not run, it may not work properly. And with the help of cybercrime, communication device can be used, maybe any mobile or any that computer or laptop. Therefore, cybercrime is a crime where computer is used as a target or a tool to commit a crime, because there is no any uniform definition of cybercrime till now. Apart from that, cybercrime is a crime where computer resource is involved. Now, what is the computer resource? If you see the definition of computer resource, I request the participant, Shahanas, please mute your mic. Shahanas, please mute your mic. So, cybercrime is a crime where computer resource is involved. Computer resource which may include computer network, any data, or a computer system. It can be targeted by the cyber criminal. However, there is a difference between cyber crimes and traditional crimes. As I said, that cyber crimes provisions you will find from section 65 onwards under the Information Technology Act. Different types of cyber crimes are given, starting from section 65. And traditional crimes, as I said initially, which are happening since years together, that is murder, rape, theft against property. All these traditional crimes are provided under the IPC. So we have to keep this difference in mind, the difference between cyber crimes and traditional crimes. Sometimes, however, we have to rely on the provisions of IPC. If any particular act is not directly punishable under the Information Technology Act, for example, cyber defamation, no any direct provision is given under the IT Act. Therefore, we have to rely on section 500 of the IPC. An act of harming the reputation of any person is punishable. That is the cyber defamation. Then there is also a difference between cyber crimes and cyber torts. Now, both these concepts are given under the IT Act. Cyber crimes under section 65 onwards. Cyber torts, it is also considered or known as cyber contraventions or civil wrongs. So the cyber torts, it itself suggests that it is an tortious act. If you see section 45 of the Information Technology Act, 43 of the Information Technology Act, it deals with penalties, compensation, and adjudication. So whenever any person downloads any important files or data from the computer or laptop of any other person without his consent, or introduces the virus into his system, if all these activities are done which are mentioned under section 43 of the IT Act, then it is known as cyber torts, for which only penalty will be imposed. Why? Because it is not that much serious in nature. But on the other hand, when I talk about cyber crimes, it is more serious in nature compared to the cyber torts, which are mentioned under section 43 of the Information Technology Act. Another difference is that in cyber torts, there is an adjudicating officer under the IT Act under section 46, on whom the power is conferred to look into the matters of cyber torts. And when I talk about cyber crimes, then the power of investigation is conferred upon the police officer not below the rank of inspector. So that is the another difference. Now there are few categories of cyber crimes which can be categorized into cyber crimes against person. For example, cyber stalking or cyber defamation. It could be examples against cyber crimes against person or online harassment, etc. Then cyber crimes against property, violation of intellectual property in cyberspace. It is one of the emerging issues in cyberspace worldwide, that copyright is violated. Trademark is also violated by creating domain names in bad faith. As well as computer vandalism is also one of the cybercrime against property. Vandalism means damaging any computer physically, not only introducing virus but damaging any computer physically. It is known as computer vandalism. Therefore, it is also known as cybercrimes against property. And when I talk about cybercrimes against government, then one of the most severe type of cybercrime, that is cyber terrorism. A provision of cyber terrorism you will find under section 66F, 66F of the Information Technology Act. Wherein the cyber terrorism, any person tries to shake the unity, sovereignty or integrity of India by sending any threatening mails, etc., fake mails, or as well as blocking any, hacking any government websites. It is also one of the cybercrime against the government. So these are the three categories that we have to keep in mind against person, property and government, because one by one we are going to discuss it in detail. Now it is also very much interesting to know that cyber criminals, they use the psychology or they study the mindset of the victim before committing any crime. And let me tell you that cyber criminals or cyber fraudsters, they don't require any what I can say education or any technical knowledge in depth. That is not at all required for committing a cyber crime. So cyber criminals, they study human behavior and easily target the following persons who are needy. Now those persons who are needy, who may be in a search of job, etc., and who may be searching a job maybe on Naukri.com or maybe on other sites. So cyber criminals, they keep the track of these websites, they keep the track of these victims, and they may send any email to that victim that you have this job opportunity, etc. You please click on this link. And the moment he clicks on that link, he may land up in a problem. His personal information can be misused, data can be stolen, that we cannot deny, the possibility that we cannot deny. So needy people can be easily targeted, as well as the people who are greedy, who are in need of money. You might have received a message maybe on WhatsApp or through email that you have won a cash prize or you have won a holiday package from this company, etc. So all these mails are fake mails, but sometimes we believe that I have won a cash prize, and then that person will ask you that you click on that link to claim that prize. And some people, they do click. So it is always advisable that we should not click on any unknown links which are sent through emails or maybe which are sent through text messages or over mobile. Then cyber criminals also target the persons who are careless, who are not negligent or not aware about their rights, or who are not aware what is going on nowadays in a cyberspace in this digital age. Who are the negligent people? For example, sometimes we go to the cyber cafe, and if we log into our account, social media accounts, there are certain people who forget to log out. And if the next person comes, he sits on your chair, on your system, on that system, then there is a possibility that already your account is open there. Then he may misuse your data, or he can send message. He can also upload any obscene content through your social media accounts, or your account, it can be hacked, because now that account is in the hand of that person. As well as then comes, or as well as there are certain persons who save their passwords, etc., maybe on any diary, or who save their account passwords, account number in the mobile phone. So it's a very bad habit and we should refrain from it. And therefore, the cyber criminal he may be your friend or neighbor, anyone. He can have the access to your diary. He can have the access to your mobile phone, which can be easily opened, which can be easily hacked. So careless people are also easily targeted by the cyber criminals. Then a fourth category of persons, that is the non-tech savvy. They are also known as the technology unknown, who are not well versed with the technology. For example, senior citizens, most of the time they have to rely on others for withdrawing the money from ATM machine. Maybe they have to rely on security guard. If security guard is not there, then he has to rely on some other persons. And we don't know that the other person might have some different intention, may have some dishonest intention in his mind. He may say that I am ready to help you, but he may swipe the ATM card. He may say that he is ready to withdraw the money, but after withdrawing money, what he does that he's also having the SBI card, and the senior citizen is also having the SBI card. So within a fraction of a second, he can exchange that SBI card. In his SBI card, that is of no use, but the SBI card which he has taken or got from that senior citizen, it may have a certain amount. And once that person leaves, then he inserts that ATM card into ATM machine and he can withdraw money. And PIN number, he has already seen it. So these are the people whom we can educate them, etc., that we should not hand over our ATM cards to any unknown persons. They can misuse it. And believe me, children are more one step forward when it comes to the technology compared to senior citizens. Children know very well how to operate mobiles, or how to operate ATM machines, etc., how to operate laptops. But sometimes children are also nowadays victim of this cybercrime, where the parents, they fail to check what their kids are doing, etc. Then another type of, now let us start to discuss the different types of cybercrimes. Phishing, you might have heard about it. A phishing is a method of trying to gather personal information using deceptive emails and websites. Now let us start to understand the modus operandi of the cyber criminal. He may create any duplicate website which may look like the website of SBI, and he may send a link through email. Email reads as that the SBI wants to verify your account details, etc., and please click on the below link. If you click on that link, you may also feel that the website is a genuine one, because the cyber criminal has taken a lot of effort to look it as a genuine one. And when you enter all your login details, password, OTP, so it is being recorded in that website, and accordingly your account is hacked, and that person can do any online transactions through it. So that is known as the phishing. And phishing means when you receive fake calls over mobile phone, landline, to gain access to your confidential information. That is known as the phishing, that is VISHING. You might have heard about this Jamthara scam, which is very popular or famous. Jamthara is a small town in the state of Jharkhand. And as I said, that the cyber criminals, they don't have to be very educated or literate to commit cyber crimes, because in this Jamthara scam, persons who committed this cyber criminal, they were just 10th or 8th past, etc. They were not highly educated. Now, how this Jamthara scam took place, there is also one series on Netflix. Those who have not seen, I request all of you to go through that series, that is Jamthara scam. Now, how these people have committed cybercrime, they used to call randomly customers of banks, and they used to pose as the employee from bank. They used to say that I am speaking from a bank, and your ATM card is going to be deactivated, etc. If you want to continue your ATM card, then you please provide all your details, that is ATM card number, CVV number, card verification value, etc., expiry date. And as this type of crime was very new, therefore the people also shared all the personal information, all these ATM card details without giving a second thought that they may land up in a problem, or without thinking that a money can be debited from their account. And it actually happened in this case in Jamthara scam. So many people have been cheated. There a large amount of money has been debited from their account as soon as OTP is shared, that is one-time password. And if you see, RBI also educates us on this matter that we should not share our personal information, bank details with anyone. Even the bank does not call for it. Then smishing. So just like phishing, smishing uses cell phone text messages to lure the consumer in. If you receive any text message on your mobile, etc., then that is known as the smishing. Then comes ATM skimming fraud. Now let's start to understand how this cybercrime takes place. As you can see in this slide, object which is in green color, it is known as the skimmer, ATM skimmer. Now what is the object of this ATM skimmer in ATM? It captures all the data of ATM. Whenever you insert your ATM card in this skimmer, it captures all the data, that is ATM card number, CVV number, expiry date, name on the ATM card, etc. Now what happens in this case, the cyber criminal, he puts the duplicate skimmer over the original skimmer. And we will also may not get to know that whether the skimmer is original or duplicate, because simply we insert our ATM card in that skimmer. So ATM scheme is a theft of card information where a small device known as skimmer is used to steal the information during a legitimate ATM transaction. Or the cyber criminal, he will enter inside the ATM and then he will put the skimmer, and then the customers, they will come. So take an example, if in any ATM in a day there are 100 or 200 people who have visited that ATM, and this person has fixed the duplicate skimmer, then all data, it has been captured by this skimmer. Then what this cyber criminal do later on, he comes back and he removes that duplicate skimmer, he takes it home, and then he purchases one online blank ATM card. Now you may ask from where this online ATM card is available, or from where this person purchases this skimmer. It is easily available on darknet website or dark web website or deep web website, through which the cyber criminals, they carry out illegal transactions. That is the dark web or deep web. You might have heard about it in previous lectures. So once he purchases this online ATM card, then he does the card cloning. And then again he visits the ATM, he inserts the ATM card, which is a cloned one, and then he withdraws the money. Then another question arises, that what about the ATM pin? So for this, the cyber criminal is also very smart. He might have fixed any hidden cameras inside the ATM, with the help of which even ATM pin can be captured. Therefore, it is advisable that whenever we enter the ATM pin number, we should cover the keyboard with our hand so that it cannot be seen by any hidden cameras. There is also possibility that cyber criminal is standing behind you, and that's why it is known as shoulder surfing. He is standing behind you and he is just watching what pin you are entering. There is also possibility, and likewise, because if you search on Google, there are so many instances which happen all over the, not only in India, across the globe with respect to this ATM skimming fraud. Then another type of cybercrime, that is QR code scam on Olx, which took place during COVID-19 pandemic. As during pandemic, we had to rely on internet services most of us used to work from home. And this OLX website, which is a famous one, we can purchase the product as well as we can sell the products online through OLX. So how this OLX code scam works, let us try to understand. Buyer, he likes a product on OLX and shows interest in making payment. For example, if you have put any goods or products for selling, then you get a call from one person and he may say that, sir, I have liked your product, etc., and I am willing to buy it. But he says that I will make a payment through QR code system. So buyer, he generates genuine QR code for the first time for making payment and sends it to a seller to win his confidence and ask him to scan QR code. So 10 rupees is credited to the seller's account. Seller is also happy that my product is that I have received 10 rupees or 20 rupees in my account. Just keep checking. And later on, then another QR code is sent. But this time, amount is debited from buyer's account after entering UPI PIN, because this time the cyber criminal, he has applied his mind and he has sent a not a genuine QR code. He has sent a QR code for receiving money and not for sending money. Therefore, as you can see in this slide, when UPI PIN is required, UPI PIN is required only for sending money, not for receiving money. But in a hurry that we don't want to lose this opportunity, we enter the ATM PIN, we enter that UPI PIN, and as soon as that UPI PIN is entered, money is debited from our account. Now, actually, this case has happened with the daughter of the Chief Minister, Arvind Kejriwal. She was a victim of this QR code scam on OLX, where she tried to sell the sofa online. You can just do a Google search. She lost 25 to 30,000 rupees. There was a cyber criminal. He sent the QR code and money was debited from her account twice. Why twice? First, cyber criminal, he said that by mistake, money is debited from her account. And then again, he sent QR code. Then again, money is debited from her account. So twice she became the victim of this QR code scam on OLX, which is very much dangerous in nature. As people, we are not aware about it. Then comes the hacking. Hacking is nothing but unauthorized access to computer system with the intention of stealing information, causing damage, wrongful loss to any individual, entity, or government. Hacking, it is punishable under section 66 of the IT Act, which is also known as the computer related offenses. Now, there is a difference between ethical hacking and unethical hacking. Ethical hackers are those persons who help the law enforcement agencies for the purpose of investigation, because as there are cyber criminals who are one step ahead in technology, so we also require few ethical hackers who will help us to catch that cyber criminal. So that's why these persons are known as ethical hackers. And unethical hackers are those persons who actually commit the cyber crimes in cyberspace. Therefore, you will also find the types of hackers, that is white hat hackers, black
Excuse
hat
me, sir.
hackers.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Please raise your voice little bit.
I'm not audible.
Audible, sir, but
Okay,
please raise your voice.
okay, just a minute. Volume is full. I'm audible now. So types of hackers, that is white hat hackers and black hat hackers. White hat hackers are the ethical hackers and black hat hackers are the unethical hackers. That's why I have put the image of this person's wearing a black hat. Then another type of cybercrime is violation of privacy. If you see section 66 of the Information Technology Act, which gives the punishment for violation of privacy, it says that whoever intentionally or knowingly. Now, another important thing, in cybercrime is that which are mentioned under from section 65 onwards, a mens rea it has to be proved. Unless and until that mens rea guilty mind is not proved, a person will not be held accountable. So that's why the term intentionally or knowingly it has been used, which indicates the mens rea or guilty mind of that person. Whoever intentionally or knowingly captures, publishes, or transmits, transmit means transfers the image of private area of any person without his or her consent, under the circumstances violating the privacy of that person, shall be punished with imprisonment which may extend to 3 years or with fine not exceeding 2 lakh rupees or with both. Now, basically, this provision is there under the IT Act to protect the privacy of an individual whenever he is doing any private act, and if he thinks that it should not be seen by any other person, etc. There are few examples where the persons they may fix any hidden cameras intentionally, knowingly in any washrooms of restaurants or maybe in any restrooms of malls. So with the help of these hidden cameras, unwanted pictures it can be captured, and after capturing these images, that person may upload it somewhere or he may transmit it or he may transfer it to his person, and if he does so, then he can be punished up to 3 years imprisonment because he has violated the privacy of that person by doing so. Apart from that, there are many other privacy issues in cyberspace. That is, data collection is a big business today. As I said, data, it's like a gold which can be purchased and sold. There are also so many mobile applications which are used for data collection. And accordingly, the government of India has banned these Chinese applications because these Chinese applications were only for the data collection as well as for stealing information, personal information of the Indians. As well as there is a use of cookies to keep the track of your preferences. As such, it is not a cyber crime, but cookies, it may track your preferences, what website you visit, etc. It may track your browsing history. And therefore, so many websites use the cookies. If you want to use their website, then first of all, you will have to enable or you will have to disable it. Then there is a sale of personal data on dark web or darknet site by the cyber criminals. A person like you and me, we cannot directly access to this dark web or darknet website because one software is required. That is the uh, Tor browser, TOR. Tor browser is required to log into that dark web or darknet site. It's not only used for illegal purposes. It is also used for legal purposes also. Then it is also correctly said that the Google knows, famous search engine, Google knows more about you than you know about yourself. Because whatever you search, whatever you places you visit, Google keeps a record of the same. And therefore it is correctly said that there is no any word delete in cyberspace. Whatever you search on internet, it remains forever there. Google keeps the record of the same. And United States, they have the access to all these files. So most of us, our data, it is already gone. It is already has been revealed. That's why there is a need for the comprehensive legislation, that is Data Protection Act 2019, which will be enacted very soon. And if you think that you will delete your browsing history, then nobody can see whatever you have searched, what videos you have seen. Because there is one more thing, that is Google Dashboard. Google Dashboard. If you type Google Dashboard, any person can see what videos you have seen, what websites you have visited, what places you have visited, at what time. He can also see your images over there. So there is no any privacy in cyberspace nowadays. Apart from that, facial and voice recognition techniques, it is also one of the emerging issues in cyberspace. We are very happy that the Google Assistant, it has made our job easier, that we don't have to type for searching anything. Simply we can speak and Google Assistant, it will hear you and it will just give all the details. But with the help of these techniques, artificial intelligence techniques, that is Alexa, our voice is also being recorded. So there are certain privacy concerns which has to be looked into. Even with the help of the CCTV cameras, etc., faces, they are being captured. We cannot deny that it can be misused sometimes. You might have heard about that Pegasus spyware also, a controversy which is going on, where the telephone of political leaders, it has been tapped, etc. So there are so many privacy issues in cyberspace as well as in the India. And for this Pegasus spyware, they have used that software with the help of which your phone can be hacked. Not even the Android phone, but the smartphone, that is iPhone, even it can be hacked. Then comes cyber obscenity. Another type of cybercrime. Obscenity as such, it is not defined anywhere. Obscenity is a threat to the internet users all over the world, as there is no territorial limit which distinguishes the commission of crime between the countries. And there are two provisions under the IT Act. That is section 67 and 67A. These are the first provisions dealing with the obscenity on the internet in India. These sections deal with obscenity in electronic spheres and provide a punishment for publishing or transmitting obscene materials in electronic form. Now let's take an example. With the help of hidden cameras, if any unwanted pictures are captured of any woman, etc., or girl, and that cyber criminal has transmitted or transferred these videos to his friends through WhatsApp or maybe through social media accounts, then that person can be booked under this provision. That is section 67 as well as section 67A. Now, what is the difference between two? In section 67A, it says that whoever publishes or transmits any obscene material which is sexually explicit act or conduct, in that case section 67A, it will be applicable. But where only obscene material, only images are forwarded, etc., then that person can be booked under section 67. If any video is forwarded obscene, then section 67A is there. Then another type of cybercrime is cyber stalking. Stalking means to follow that, and when this stalking is done in cyberspace, then it is known as the cyber stalking. So it says that any man who follows a woman and contacts or attempts to contact such woman to foster personal interaction repeatedly despite a clear indication of disinterest by such woman. That woman has said that she is not interested at all, but despite that, a person keeps on sending requests to her or keeps on stalking her through social media accounts, that is Facebook, etc., or Instagram. Or clause 2, it says that of section 354D, because cyber stalking, it is given under section 354D of IPC. Or monitors the use by a woman of the internet, email, or any other form of electronic communication, commits the offense of stalking. Now section 354D, it was inserted under the Indian Penal Code by way of amendment, that is Criminal Amendment Act 2013. Because there was a need to insert all these provisions, as you must be well aware about the Nirbhaya case. That is an unfortunate incident which took place in Delhi, where she was raped and killed brutally. And that's why there was a need to amend the provisions of the Indian Penal Code, especially to put such provisions where the punishment will be provided against the offences which are committed against women. So section 354D, it is one of them, because cyber stalking is not directly punishable under the IPC. That's why we have to rely on this section of IPC. Now, this is the first case in India, that is Ritu Kohli's case, is a first reported case with respect to cyber stalking. In this case, Manish Kathuria, he is the cyber fraudster or cyber criminal. He was stalking an Indian lady, that is Miss Ritu Kohli, by illegally chatting on the website, that is www.mirc.com. Now, this website allows to exchange the thoughts or to chat with other persons. Now, in this case, this person used the name of Miss Ritu Kohli, used the obscene and obnoxious language, and distributed her residence telephone number. He shared her telephone number with other people. He made it public and invited people to chat with her on phone. Now, as a result of this, she started getting obscene calls from various states of India and abroad. And then people were talking dirty with her. Then, in a state of shock, she called the Delhi police and reported the matter to the cyber cell, and later on the FIR was registered against Manish Kathuria. The police registered the case under section 509 of the IPC. 509, which deals with insulting the modesty of the woman. And accordingly, he was charged under section 509 and he was found guilty. So this case caused the alarm to the Indian government for the need to amend laws regarding the aforesaid crime, and therefore, based on this case, later on section 66A, it was inserted under the IT Act, but now it has been struck down also. Now let's see what was the reason for removing this section 66A from the IT Act. And before that, we'll have to see the concept of cyber defamation. Now the term defamation means harming the reputation of any person. Defamation, it is defined under section 499 of the IPC, and it is punishable under section 500 of the IPC. Now, when the act of harming reputation, it is done in internet, by using internet, or by sending an email, or by sending any electronic message, then it amounts to cyber defamation. Therefore, the cyber defamation basically means publishing a false statement about an individual in cyberspace that can injure or harm the reputation of that individual. Initially, cyber defamation, hate speech, it was punishable under section 66A of IT Act. Just now I said that. You see the title of section 66A was sending offensive messages through communication device. Now it has been removed, it has been struck down. And the name of that case in which it has been struck down, that is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India. Now let us go to the history, why this section was removed. Because in Maharashtra, in Mumbai, there was a death of one political leader, famous political leader, and that political party, they took the decision that Mumbai should be shut down for 2 days just to give the respect. The political party has taken the decision, and then one girl, she commented on Facebook that the Mumbai, it should not have been shut down. The decision which is taken by that party is totally wrong, etc., because it may result into huge economic loss. And the other girl, she also liked that comment. Now, at that time, when this incident happened, section 66A was there. And section 66A, it's a cognizable offense in nature. It means that police officer can directly arrest that person without warrant. He doesn't require the warrant from the magistrate. So police officer arrested the girl who commented on Facebook as well as the girl who liked that comment. Both the girls were put behind the bars. They were put in the jail, in custody. And then there was a lot of agitation all over India. The social workers, they came forward. 2 women came forward in favor of those girls and said that they have not done anything wrong, and police officer, they should not have arrested them because every person has a right of freedom of speech and expression, which is guaranteed under Article 19 of the Constitution of India. Then when the case went to the court, then the court gave the bail order and both the girls were released. But later on, Shreya Singhal, she is an advocate by profession. She filed the petition before the Supreme Court of India and she challenged the constitutionality of the section 66A, saying that it encourages upon freedom of speech and expression, because every person has a right to express his own views, expressions in cyberspace. However, there are certain reasonable restrictions, and in such case, there was no any derogatory statement which was used by these two girls, or there was no any violence, etc. Therefore, Supreme Court also allowed this PIL filed by Shreya Singhal, and the petition was finally allowed. And therefore, the section 66A now it has been struck down. But it does not mean that there are no any other provisions under the IT Act or under the IPC. Then another type of cybercrime, which is also interesting one, which took place during COVID-19 pandemic. Most of the people were unaware about this type of cybercrime, that is SIM swap fraud. Now let's try to understand how it works. SIM swapping. The fraudster, he first obtains the victim's bank account details and registered mobile number through phishing attacks. Now we already discussed what is the phishing attack. So cyber criminal can send any email and may ask that to verify your details, and you may enter all your details of your maybe a SIM card or your account, etc. So after this, he visits the mobile operator's retail outlet, posing as the victim with a fake ID proof to get the original SIM blocked. Now, from where he will get your documents? Maybe he will get your documents through phishing attacks, or he may also call you that he wants to. He may also call you saying that if you want to upgrade your SIM from 3G to 4G or from 4G to 5G, etc., then he requires certain details. Or he may ask you to forward a message to the operator. Actually, that message you forward is for blocking your original SIM that you don't know, but he knows it. Then post verification, that is by the operator. Operator is also in a hurry. He does not see all the things minutely. He deactivates the genuine customer's SIM card, that is the victim SIM card, and issues a new SIM card to the fake customer, that is the fraudster. Now, what is the result of this? Original SIM that is blocked of the victim, and new SIM card with the same number, it is issued to the cyber criminal. Now the victim will not get the message also that his SIM has been locked already, but his mobile has stopped working. Now the fraudster can conduct fraudulent transactions on the victim's accounts using banking details obtained via phishing attacks. Because now OTP will not come to previous number or to the victim's number. OTP will come to the new SIM, which is in the custody of this cyber criminal. So he can, you imagine, he can log into your account. Login details already he has obtained through phishing attacks. He can do any online transactions. He can debit or withdraw the money from your account. So it is always advisable that if your mobile or SIM does not show network maybe for 5 or to 6 hours, then immediately you should call to the operator to know what is the actual problem, etc. But if you go to rural areas where there is no network, that is a different story altogether. And another thing is that we should not share our all details over the phone call. Directly, we should go to the office and cross verify. So many people were cheated during COVID-19 pandemic, as this crime was very recent one. Then comes matrimonial frauds. Matrimonial fraud also took place not only during COVID-19 pandemic, before that also, matrimonial frauds were committed by cyber criminals. But the percentage of these frauds, it increased during COVID-19 pandemic. So let's try to understand how it works. There is a creation of fake profile by fraudsters on leading matrimonial websites for cheating. And the cyber criminal, he poses to be settled or working abroad, and thus makes actual meeting difficult. And then he sent the request to that lady, to that woman. Now, who are the most common targets of this matrimonial frauds? If you see, widows or divorced or elderly women looking for life partners, or women who are economically sound, they are the victim of these matrimonial frauds. And that's why I also said that the cyber criminals, they study the mindset, they study the history of that victim before sending any request. He will go through the profile, etc. Therefore, it is always advisable that you should lock your social media accounts or that Facebook account, so that the cyber criminal cannot go through your profile before you accept the request. Then he says that if you accept the request, then he says that he's working in abroad, he's a NRI, he's a very rich person. So he tries to create emotional attachment with that lady. And then 15 days gone, 20 days gone, they chat with each other, but he never comes online, he never shows his face, etc. So there is a now demand for money on various pretexts, but one day he says that now he wants to meet that lady and he wants to come from abroad to meet her, and he calls her and says that I have landed to the Delhi airport, and says that I have brought expensive gifts for you. It could be any necklace, gold, etc. But he says that the officers, police officers, they have arrested him and they are not releasing him. Why? Because it is not uh, allowed as per the airline policy. That's why he says that he asked for the money from the woman so that he can be released and then he can meet to her. A woman also believes, because already now she is emotionally attached with that person from last 15 to 20 days or maybe for a month, and immediately she sends 30,000 rupees, it could be 50,000 rupees, whatever amount he asks. And the moment he sends the money is debited from account. When she tries to call back to him, he does not pick up the call. He tries to call on another number. She tries to call on another number. That number is also switched off. So fact is that he never landed to the Delhi airport. That was the fraudster. He was the cyber criminal. And actually these places have taken place wherein later on the police officer found that he was no any NRI, and that was a person who was from this uh, Nigeria, etc. He was a Nigerian person. So there is a demand for money on various pretexts like custom clearance of costly gifts or conversion charges for foreign currency, government clearance for diamonds, etc. So we have to be very careful. Specifically women, they have to be very careful while dealing with NRI profiles on matrimonial websites, and they should commit to marriage only after face-to-face meetings. Then comes another type of cybercrime, that is cloning of Facebook accounts. There might be some participants in this class whose Facebook account or social media account, it has been cloned or duplicated. Now there is a difference between cloning and hacking. Cloning of Facebook account, it takes place when any duplicate account is created by the fraudster or criminal. But when your account is hacked, Facebook account is hacked, it means that other person is having a control over your account. So how this cloning of Facebook accounts takes place, let us try to understand. A cloned account uses the name and picture of a real Facebook user. Now your image, if I want to create your cloned account, if I search your name on Google, your image will appear easily. If it does not appear, then I will go to your Facebook profile. From there, if your Facebook profile is not locked, then I will download your image from there. Then I will also go through your entire friend list. Why? Because your account is not locked. I will go through your entire friend list and then I will start sending friend requests to your friends, right? And those persons, they may believe that the friend request has come from you. They may believe that, and they will also accept the friend request. And later on, what happens? For example, if you have created your cloned Facebook account, then I will ask money or for any favor from your friend. I may say that my relative is admitted in hospital and I need money immediately. You may also believe that is our friend, etc. You will also send the money. So likewise, a person may land up in a problem or a cyber crime may take place. So how to prevent it? You can go to account settings and privacy. There is an option. Most of you might have already locked your profile. If you have not done so far, please go back and lock your Facebook profile so that cyber criminal cannot go through your profile or any other person cannot go to your profile, cannot see what you are sharing, cannot see what images you have uploaded, cannot see what places you have visited, etc. Then hide your friend list. Who can see your friend list? There is one option. Make it or enable it as only me. So only you can see your friend list and not any other third person.
Please.
Then morphing of images or videos. It is also one of the cyber crime. Basically, this is a cyber crime against women, as most of the women are targeted in this. And that's why the question arises that whether women are safe in cyberspace on internet. Initially, morphing is editing the original picture by an unauthorized user, where the picture, it can be edited by a person. Now, this technology was used in Bollywood, etc.
Sir, can you increase volume, please? Thank you.
Hello? Did you say anything? Yes, Dr. Thomas. I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay. So I was talking about this technology of morphing. Now it has been misused by cyber criminals. And this technique is also available online. If you search in YouTube, it will also give all the results how to morph images or videos, etc. And therefore, cyber criminals have misused it for their own benefit. How they download the photo of victim from social media accounts of any woman, then they use the software and applications for morphing. And once they morph these images, create any obscene images and fix the photo of that lady on that nude, circulate these images or videos through different sites without their consent. Or before sending, that person may ask that lady that you send me this much amount. So he blackmails her, or he will say that uh, he will share all these photos with her relatives or will make it online. So it amounts to extortion, blackmailing, and harassment of women. Therefore, women should, or as well as all of us, we should not share our personal information unnecessarily. We should not share our personal photos on social media accounts unnecessarily, and we should try to minimize the clicks in cyberspace so that we don't become the victim of cybercrime. Then cyber grooming. Basically, this is one of the cyber crimes where the children are targeted. As I said, now children, they are also using mobile phones, they are also using laptops because it's a need of an hour as classes are also going online. So they have to rely on all these devices. So cyber grooming is the process of befriending a young person online to facilitate online sexual contact or a physical meeting with them with the goal of committing sexual abuse. The main goals of the cyber grooming are, first of all, the cyber criminal, he will try to gain the trust from the child. He will try to win his confidence. The cyber criminal, he will talk to her. Now he will say that you please share your images. Images could be some nude images. And parents also don't keep watch on their children. Then second main goal of the cyber grooming is to obtain intimate and personal data from the child, which is often sexual in nature, such as sexual conversations, pictures, or videos. And once it is shared by that child, then that cyber criminal starts sexually exploiting that children in online mode, or he uses that images for any illegal purposes, or he uploads it on any websites where it amounts to child trafficking. Then there is a data breaches. It is also one of the serious concern in cyberspace. During COVID-19 pandemic, so many data breaches, prominent data breaches happened. There was an Air India data breach where the uh, details of all the passengers, it was leaked by the cyber criminals on various websites. There was also a Domino's data breach. If you search on Google, you will find that the cyber criminals, uh, they have shared or made it public the telephone numbers as well as the credit card numbers, ATM card numbers of the consumers of the Domino's. All the details are available. What pizza that person has taken, at what time he has taken, etc. It is available on that dark web and deep web. At that time, it was released by the cyber criminals. There was also MobiWik user data breach, which is a payment method. All the details were released by cyber criminals, as well as there was a Facebook data breach, which was very famous and popular, where the owner of this Facebook, that is Mark Zuckerberg, he was also questioned by the court. As you might have studied that, he was questioned by the court with respect to privacy of the individuals, whether it has been protected in the social media account, Facebook or not, because it was stated that the images as well as the details of the users, it was leaked by the Facebook without their consent. There was a big basket data breach. There was a Zoom app data breach. Zoom app, it was not secure initially, but now I think that they have complied with this all privacy provisions, etc. Then comes cyberbullying, which is the use of cyberbullying is nothing but it is also known as online harassment. Cyberbullying is the use of technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, or target another person. Cyberbullying is a growing problem in schools and has become an issue because the internet is fairly anonymous. Cybercriminal, he can use this internet for his own benefit in anonymity through this dark web or deep web sites, where it becomes difficult for the law enforcement agencies to track the IP address easily, because our police officers are also not that much competent enough to retrieve any deleted data, etc. And that's why they have to rely on cyber forensic experts. However, sometimes the cyberbullying, it leaves a digital footprint, a record that can prove useful and provide the evidence to help stop the abuse. In child pornography is very serious offense in nature, and government is also very serious about this, because watching pornography, it is not an offense. But when it comes to browsing or downloading child pornography, it is an offense strictly mentioned under the Information Technology Act. And that section is section 67B, which says that these following acts are prohibited. Depicting children means showing children in sexually explicit act or conduct. Publishing or transmitting, browsing or downloading. So if you browse, any person, whoever browses, downloads any child pornographic content, then police officers, they are keeping watch on them. They can arrest all these persons because it's a offense under the IT Act, browsing or downloading child pornography. Or whoever induces children to online relationship or facilitates abusing children online, all these activities are prohibited under section 67B of the IT Act. Then identity theft, which is punishable under section 66C of IT Act, which reads that whoever fraudulently or dishonestly make use of any electronic signature. Now, your electronic signature or digital signature can be misused by any other person. And if he does so, then he can be booked under section 66C, because that is an identity theft. It can be with respect to password or any other unique identification feature of any other person. Then we can say that he has committed the identity theft, for which punishment may extend up to 3 years. Then another interesting cybercrime which took place during COVID-19 pandemic, the government websites were hacked by cyber criminals. There was also a fingerprint cloning by cyber fraudsters. As you can see in this slide, the right side image of the glue gun, with the help of which fingerprints can be cloned easily. If you search on YouTube, it is also easily available online, and it is misused by few persons. And we feel that the iPhone, it cannot be hacked. Even iPhone can be hacked. It can be easily opened with the help of this fingerprint cloning technique. So during pandemic, PM Cares Coronavirus Fund, as you know that India was going through financial crisis. So this government of India has created this PM Cares Coronavirus Fund website, and whoever wants to contribute, they could do so. But the cyber criminal, they created multiple fake UPI ID. They created duplicate websites, and the ordinary persons, citizens, I would rather say netizens, they could not identify the differences between the two websites, as they look like similar. And so many people were cheated because they deposited money in that through that UPI ID which was created by the cyber criminal. There was also duplication of coin portals by fraudsters, through which they used to offer financial assistance and medical support through fake websites. As we know, during COVID-19 pandemic, there was a shortage of these oxygen cylinders. So cyber criminal, they started selling oxygen cylinder. Actually, they never delivered, but they cheated many people, giving false promises in cyberspace and by creating fake websites. If you search On Google, you will see one news that one man in UP, Uttar Pradesh, he was arrested for cloning fingerprints and hacking 500 bank accounts. He hacked 500 bank accounts with the help of this fingerprint cloning technique. And he misused it. Later on, he was arrested by the police officers. Then another type of cyber crime which took place during COVID-19 pandemic was dissemination of fake news. And it was rightly said that fake news was spreading faster than COVID-19 in India and worldwide. Because let's take an example, if you receive any message on WhatsApp, then without giving a second thought, you forward that message to your friends. You do not first verify that whether the message is authentic one or not, whether that video is authentic one or not, or why should we forward it unnecessarily. So we used to forward all these messages maybe with respect to COVID-19 cases, deaths of COVID-19, all fake news. And media, it was also promoting all these activities through televisions. So these are three instances I have given in this slide. First, a Statue of Unity, it was put up for sale on OLX for COVID-19 donation by one person. A Statue of Unity, it is located in Gujarat, a statue of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Now one person, he clicked the images and he downloaded images, uploaded it on OLX and said that, written below that image that as India is going through financial crisis, we want to raise fund and the government of India, he said that he's the government employee. He said that government has taken decision to sell this Statue of Unity. So that was the fake news. Later on, that person was arrested by the police officers. So there are these types of persons also who are using different tools and techniques for attracting persons all over the world or for cheating them. Then there was a false data about COVID-19 cases, fake diagnosis and treatment. So many persons used to say that if you do this or that, then you will not get infected, etc. But all these news were fake. Then Tablighi Jamaat was blamed for spreading of coronavirus and naming them as Corona Jihad, giving it a religious angle and spreading hatred against Muslim community. Later on, it was found that they are not guilty, etc. The media was also showing all this news, and they were saying that they were responsible for spreading this coronavirus. Now, due to shortage of time, I will not cover this other cyber crimes at a glance. I will directly jump to the e-commerce because that is also, there are so many things which I want to discuss, but as you can see, there are few news which have come into the newspaper, cyber attacks in the news. Cyber criminals create vulgar defects cashing in on trending sari challenge. Must be heard about the sari challenge, which is going on that a social media accounts, that is Facebook. One lady, she uploads her image, then she asks her friend, now you also accept this challenge and upload your image wearing sari. But on the other hand, cyber criminals, they are misusing these photos for morphing images as well as for these videos, and they are transmitting it to third persons and they are misusing it. Another news, many Bangaloreans lose cash to SIM card swap fraud. It has also come into the newspaper during COVID-19 pandemic. So many people became the victim of this SIM swap fraud, which we just discussed. Then as you can see, there was a rise in cybercrime during lockdown. So many financial frauds took place. Phishing attacks also took place. And as you can see the image of this journalist, famous journalist, Nidhi Rajdan. She opens up about fake Harvard University job offer because she became the victim of this phishing attack. she got one mail stating that she got a job from the Harvard University as a professor. She also believed on that mail without verifying all the details. And on social media, she thanked to her employer, etc., that they have given her an opportunity, etc. And she thanked everyone. And later on, when she tried to call to this particular or try to reach to this employer situated in Harvard University, then she got to know that she has been cheated. No any such mail was sent, and that mail was sent by the cyber criminal. So that is nothing but the phishing attack, and therefore I said that even educated people can be a victim of the cybercrime. It is not necessary that only illiterate people become the victim of cybercrime. Only also well qualified people can also be a victim of this cybercrime. That is the moral of the story, or that is the rationale behind telling you the story of this Didi Rajasthan. So till now we have discussed the concept of cyber jurisprudence as well as various types of cyber crimes, the modus operandi adopted by cyber criminals for committing cyber crimes. Now we'll discuss in brief about electronic commerce and what are the various challenges which are involved. So e-commerce is nothing but buying or selling the goods online in a virtual mode. E-commerce, it increases the growth of online business. It can be categorized under online marketing, where the merchant he advertises the product through e-commerce website, online sales, where the product delivery takes place and the goods or product, it is delivered at your doorstep. You don't have to go to the shop physically. Simply you can place the order and it will be delivered at your doorstep. It also deals with product service, online billing, online payments. You can do the payments in an online mode, maybe by using UPI method or by using credit card, ATM card. But while doing so, there is also a threat. You may become the victim of cybercrime. Because sometimes you may log in to another website, which is not a genuine one, or your credit card details can be compromised. It can be misused in cyberspace. So in this slide, I have mentioned the process of e-commerce. First of all, where we place the order, we select any product or goods which we want to purchase. So we are the customers. We log into e-commerce website. It could be Amazon, it could be Flipkart, it could be OLX, etc. Then we make the bank payment, or there is also option of pay on delivery. Later on, our order is placed and we get the product in our hand at the doorstep. Now there are certain pros and cons of this electronic commerce. Though Information Technology Act has given the legal recognition, has given the validity to electronic commerce transactions, it has given the validity to online contracts, but there are certain pros and cons, advantages or disadvantages. Some of the advantages are it ensures faster buying or selling procedure, as well as it's easy to find products. Buying, selling, it is available 24/7. It's not like a shops are closed in the midnight. You cannot go. At midnight also you can purchase in online mode. It's more rich to the customers. There is no any theoretical geographic limitations. There is no any boundary, no jurisdiction. It has low operational costs and better quality of services. No need of physical company setups. It's an easy to start and manage a business, as well as the customers can easily select products from different providers without moving around physically. But however, there are certain disadvantages or threats. We are not unable to examine the products personally or physically. That is one of the disadvantage, because in online a product may look very attractive, but when we get it in our hand, we may become dissatisfied. Another disadvantage is that not everyone is connected to the internet. If you go to the rural area, there is no internet, if internet is there, etc., there is no any electricity. So these are certain disadvantages to e-commerce. There is a possibility of credit card number theft, because in Amazon, if you see, they also save your all details of credit card or ATM card for future purposes, which can be misused as well, not by Amazon, but by any other person by hacking their website. Most important, there is a jurisdiction issues in cyberspace. For example, if you want to file a suit against the Amazon, then where you will file a suit? Product is delivered at your doorstep. Amazon, it is located somewhere. Then the question of jurisdiction, it arises. Indian law is also not very much clear about jurisdiction issues in cyberspace. Then it is difficult to ensure the security or privacy on online transactions. Privacy is at stake in electronic commerce transactions. Apart from that, lack of touch or feel of products during online shopping is also a drawback. Then there are certain types of electronic commerce, that is B2B, that is business to business transaction, where one business makes transaction with another, maybe for giving any contracts or for manufacturing any goods or products. So that is a B2B, business to business transaction. Business to consumer means where the merchant sells the product to customer. For example, if you are getting any products delivered from Amazon, Flipkart, then you are the customer and they are the merchant. And it is known as business to consumer. And C2C, consumer to consumer, that is a transaction or auction from consumer to consumer. If you want to sell the product, you can sell it through OLX, right? So that is a transaction between consumer to consumer. So all these transactions are admissible as per the Information Technology Act. IT Act has given the legal recognition to e-commerce. Now, is there any law on e-commerce? Yes, there is a model law on electronic commerce. Because India is also a signatory party, India is a member to this UNICITRAL, that is United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. This UNICITRAL has adopted the model law on electronic commerce in the year 1996 to assist the countries in framing of legislation which would enable and facilitate e-commerce and e-governance. And based on this model law of 1996, we have enacted the Information Technology Act 2000. Based on this model law, Information Technology Act has given the recognition to e-commerce. It also promotes e-commerce. So model law establishes rules and norms that validate and recognize contracts formed through electronic means, that is online contracts. It could be a click wrap contracts, it could be a browsing contract. So there are different types of contracts. It set rules for forming contracts and governing electronic contract performance. It defines the characteristics of valid electronic writing and of an original document. It provides for the acceptability of electronic signatures for legal and commercial purposes. So electronic signature, digital signature is also valid in this e-commerce, as well as it supports the admission of computer evidence, that is digital evidence in courts and arbitration proceedings. So now discussing this electronic commerce in brief, now it's time to look into what precaution has to be taken by all of us, because when there was this COVID-19 pandemic, then we used to wash our hands regularly so that we don't get infected from coronavirus. Similarly, when it comes to cyberspace, we need to maintain or we need to follow cyber hygiene so that we don't become the victim of cyber crimes, because we are the netizens in the cyberspace and we have to follow certain netiquettes. Not etiquettes, I would rather say we have to follow certain netiquettes. So what are those netiquettes? First, Dial 155-260 to report financial frauds. If you become the victim of any financial fraud, then this number is operative in most of the states through which you can report the financial frauds. Apart from that, you can report all cybercrimes on cybercrime.gov.in. That is a portal which has been started by the government of India. That's an online portal. You don't have to go to the police station, etc. It is available 24/7 hours, so you can report any type of cybercrime through this portal. Another precaution or cyber hygiene is that never hand over your ATM card for swiping to others. Do it yourself, because there is a possibility that if you hand over the ATM card to others, it can be misused, or that person may have a skimmer. He may have a skimmer. With the help of skimmer, your ATM card, it can be compromised or it can be cloned. Then use two-step verification method to sign in emails. Most of you might be using this two-step verification method, which is used in emails as well as in social media accounts. Two-step verification method is nothing but if you log in from any other new device, then first of all, OTP will come to your mobile, right? So it tries to protect that social media account, or it tries to protect your email. Skimmers are usually used for ATM card frauds. Initially, so many crimes happened, but now the number has gone down of ATM skimming fraud, as the government is aware about it. However, before inserting ATM card, we should check the machine minutely, whether any ATM skimmer has been fixed by the cyber criminal. We just can try to move that skimmer, whether it comes out easily. If it comes out easily, it means that that is the duplicate skimmer. Then we should be cautious at hotels, that is restaurants, petrol pumps, while making online transactions, because there is a possibility that these are the places where our ATM card, credit card, it can be compromised. We should always browse through HTTPS sites and not HTTP. In previous lectures, maybe few speakers might have already told you that HTTPS, as it stands for secure. That's why we should not browse through any HTTP websites. We should also check symbol of padlock in the address bar. In the left side, there is one symbol of padlock. If you click on that padlock, it gives all the details of that website, whether it is secure or not, etc. Then we should note down the URL address and take the screenshot of any offensive messages or images, because this is the thing which the police officer is going to ask you, or law enforcement agencies, they are going to ask from you. That is the URL address of any website. You can take the screenshot of same, or if any person has sent any vulgar message, has sent any obscene video to you, then you should save it, because that is a digital evidence. That is a electronic evidence. And digital evidence is also now admissible in the court of law as per section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act. If you see section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act, it talks about procedure for admissibility of digital evidence. In what manner it has to be produced before the court. A detailed procedure is given. So what could be the examples of digital evidence? Any data which is stored in pen drive, any CD, DVD, laptop, any message which has come in your mobile, that is electronic message, email. So all these are the examples of digital evidence. So you should preserve it for further proceedings. Do not trust your screen, that is laptop screen. We should verify all the things minutely. Before clicking on any unknown links, it is always advisable not to click on any unknown links unnecessarily. We should always reach to banking sites through address bar and not from Google, because it's our bad habit that we type the name of that IP address of the bank in Google instead of directly typing it in the address bar. Because there is a possibility that a cyber criminal might have created duplicate websites, fake websites, and therefore we should remember the correct IP address of our online banking. That is online bank, that is online SBI.com, etc. Another cyber hygiene or precaution is that we should keep changing your password frequently. Do not set password as your name, date of birth, mobile number, vehicle number. It's our bad habit that we keep the same password for so many accounts, and it is very easy for the cyber criminal to crack this password. So password should be a sentence phrased. It should be strong enough. It becomes difficult for the cyber criminal to crack it easily. Do not use public Wi-Fi, because it is correctly said that no lunch is free. If you use the public Wi-Fi, there is also possibility that whatever you are searching on the internet, on a website, all your data is going on any other server. As well as, do not share your mobile number, emails unnecessarily at shops, hotels, because the moment you share your mobile number, then you will start getting unnecessary calls that you have, that we have this offer, that offer, we have holiday package, that package, and out of 10 or 20 calls, there might be one call from the cyber criminal just to cheat you or to deceive you. So do not share mobile number, email unnecessarily with everyone. Inform the bank within 24 hours if card is not used by you. So that was all about cyber jurisprudence and electronic commerce. Now I stop here, and if you have any questions, then I'm happy to answer your questions.
Sir, myself, Krishamur from Ernakulam.
Yes.
My question is whether ATM Wi-Fi is now available. Is it safe, ATM Wi-Fi?
ATM Wi-Fi. ATM Wi-Fi also.
In petrol pump, they are asking.
Yes, please go ahead.
Safe. Is it safe?
No, see, sometimes cyber criminals, as I said, that they are one step ahead in technology. If they want to hack, if they can hack the websites easily, they can also hack or can get the control over this Wi-Fi, though it belongs to banks, etc. So that possibility also we cannot deny. So we should refrain from all this practice of yes.
And in shops, they are asking our mobile number, and what can we do that in hotels or in shops when we visit there? They are asking our mobile number before billing.
Yes, that is a practice. That is the practice. That is a practice. But what I do is that many times when I go for this shopping in malls, etc., I don't share my number. I tell them that you just give the bill without taking my number. And most of them have agreed to this also. Because they want to sell their products finally.
And one more information, that is, I'm from BSNL, and what we are regarding this SIMs of fraud, what we are doing is that we will not give the duplicate SIM, that is a SIM replacement, only when the customer came to our area of the offices, and we will take the photograph of the customer, then only we will give the SIM replacement. That is we are practicing. That is just for the information of the participants, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
That's a good information, sir. So you are
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Is the transaction through this phone pay or Google Pay, is it safe? May I know?
If you ask me personally, I don't use the phone pay. I use only Game app. I also don't use Google Pay. To a certain extent, it is secure, but I'm using Game Pay, which is a authentic one, which is a reliable one. Google, it's
Sir, can you spell it?
BHIM.
Can you
BHIM. BHIM.
BMAP. Oh, BMAP. Okay, sir.
Sir?
Okay. Oh, sir.
Sir?
Thank you.
Any other questions, please?
Yes, sorry, sir, I can interrupt. I can ask for please for the participant. We can begin with the question which have been posted in the chat box for the ones who are posted previous. Then we'll, if we finish them in time, then we'll take some who have not yet asked. With your permission, sir.
Yes, yes,
So
sure. Please go ahead.
in chat box, we have the first question. Is this from Deepak, if I'm not mistaken, from Deepak Kumar? He's asking like difference between digital signature and electronic signature, please, sir.
What is the difference between
Yeah,
electronic signature and digital signature?
and digital
As I
signature.
said, okay, as I said that in digital signature, asymmetric cryptography system is used. Private key and public key. Actually, it is not any physical key. A number, unique number is given, like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Numerical is given. It is known as private key and public key. So with the help of private key, we can create a digital signature. Electronically, you might have seen in emails that this document is digitally signed, right? So that is the digital signature. And once I send a document to you, and if you want to make sure that whether that digital signature belongs to me or not, whether it is mine digital signature or not. So with the help of public key, you can verify it. And if the hash function, if it matches, then you can be sure that digital signature is mine. But in electronic signature, which is not that much secured to that digital signature, because electronic signature, no any private key or public key, it is also not used. Example could be, or any this biometric information, Aadhaar authentication, that is e-sign, Aadhaar number. It could be one of the examples of electronic signature. Or I gave one example of that Amazon delivery boy. He asked us to sign on the tablet, ask us for the acknowledgement for receipt of the product. That is the example of electronic signature, for which we don't require private key or public key. And if you see the Information Technology Act, digital signature, it is issued by certifying authority, which is licensed by the government of India, because no any person can directly issue digital signatures. It comes in the it's like a pen drive, right? In that pen drive, there will be, it looks like a pen drive, digital signature. There will be on private key, public key, etc. So that is the difference.
Thank you, sir. We can go at least quickly because we are out of time and there are some questions, more questions.
Yes.
The next question is: can cyber criminals track through apps?
Yes, definitely. Cyber criminals, they can track through apps. Now, what will happen? You see, there are certain cyber criminals. They say that if you have lost any money or if any amount is debited from your account, and what we do, we call the bank. As cyber criminals are very smart. They have put their own numbers in Google, right? They have put their own numbers, telephone numbers in Google, and we also search in Google only that SBI bank number, HDFC bank number, customer care. Actually, we call to that particular person, and then we share all our details, account details, right? And he says that if you want your money back, I'm bank employee, you please download this app, etc. We also blindly trust on him. We download that app, but actually that app is nothing but to track, or there are certain apps which are screen sharing apps, right? Screen sharing, it could be a screen sharing app. So whatever you are doing on your mobile, it can be seen by the cyber criminal. The moment you log into your bank account from your mobile, that cyber criminal is having all access, because everything is recorded, that he can see your login ID, password, etc. And likewise, that person can be cheated. Yes, so there is also possibility that cyber criminals also can track through the mobile applications. Therefore, we should not download any mobile applications which are sent through one link. And let me, before you ask any other question, I forgot to tell you about that new recent trend, that is WhatsApp movie scam. Few of you might have heard about it. WhatsApp movie scam, that you are added to one group, unknown group, and then you start getting the links in that group of movie links, and that famous movie is right now going on, that is Kashmir Files. Most of persons ad is not available on Netflix, etc. So he's also happy that he's getting it free of cost. So once he clicks on that link, money is directly debited from his account. Now how that happens, etc., I'm also unaware about that technology. But if you search on YouTube, government has issued the guidelines that you should take care of. You should be beware from this WhatsApp movie scam, which is going on nowadays.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The next question comes from Anesh. He says, will there be a possibility of complete cashless transaction in the future?
Not future, right now also it is going on, cashless transactions. In future, you take an example of this Bitcoin. Even the government of India, in the finance budget, they also announced that they are going to legalize it. So Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is nothing but we don't have to pay by cash. So all these are the cashless transactions which are also validated, through which the we transact with other persons or we purchase some bitcoins, etc. So yes, there is a possibility of complete cashless transactions in future.
Yeah. Okay,
Because
sir.
technology, it is growing very faster, and we are living in the age of information technology, in the digital age.
Yes, sir. The next question, it goes like, how possible is proving the mens rea in cyber crimes? As we know, the offenses are committed in virtual world and not in real or physical world, like as it is in the ordinary crimes.
Okay. Mens rea or guilty mind is one of the essential ingredients. Though it is a cyber crime, after all, it is a crime. I told you about the two types, that is cyber torts, which is also known as cyber contraventions, which are mentioned under section 43. For that, mens rea is not required, but the activities which are given, prohibited activities which are given under section 43, if it is done dishonestly, maliciously, knowingly, with malicious intent, because all these words terms have been used from section 65 onwards under the IT Act. Whoever dishonestly does so, whoever knowingly does so, whoever maliciously transfers. Therefore, it indicates the mens rea. Though it is also required under the traditional crimes, but if it is committed with mens rea or guilty mind, and if it is not there, then obviously section 43 is there, where only a penalty can be imposed and there will be no any provision of imprisonment. But for cybercrime from section 65 onwards, there is the presence of mens rea, it has to be proved by the court. If it is not proved, then section 43 will be attracted.
Thank you, sir. So the next question goes like, it says, what about using the firewalls and antivirus and security softwares?
Yeah, that's a good point which I missed in this cyber hygiene. All of us, we should have this antivirus software. It could be of any company, right? We should, so that at least to certain extent, it can prevent any malware or any virus which are trying to enter into our system. So we can use firewalls as well as the antivirus or security softwares. We should also update it on regular basis. We should also scan our laptop, etc. For mobiles also, there are certain this mobile security scan, etc. These apps are there. Sometimes which can be downloaded from the this Google Store app, etc. But we should not download any app from any email sent by any email or by any WhatsApp message.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir. We will proceed. Sorry, ma'am, are you there? Can we proceed with the questions or time is out of us? I need your guidance.
You can ask question. There is no any such.
We should proceed. Eh? Okay.
You
The next
take
question.
Consent of the madam. You take the consent of the madam.
Okay. Ma'am. Hello, ma'am. I think she's
Okay, fine.
Right. We can
the
proceed.
next question. Yes.
The next question goes like, is ethical hacking permissible by public?
Not by public, only by the ethical hackers who are certified or certified ethical hackers, as well as who work on behalf of the government or who have been employed by the government. In that case, the help of these persons can be taken so that the cyber criminal, they can be caught and they can be punished. Ethical hacking is not punished, and that's why I also talked about this Pegasus spyware, right? Where now the political leaders, they are saying that the government itself has misused this spyware software, wherein the telephone of political leaders, it has been tapped, or few mobiles, it has been hacked. So ethical hacking as such, even telephone tapping is also not permissible. Telephone tapping or telephone recording, it is not permissible without the permission of the law. But for any investigation, right, it can be done with the permission of the court.
Okay. There are some requests. They are asking for your kindness to share a PPT of this lesson for their further, I think, references. So next question.
Can you please repeat?
I'm saying like there are some requests from other participants. They're asking for you to share the PPT of today's lesson, at least for their further.
Okay, sure.
References.
I'll share it
Yes.
with them, madam.
Yeah. The next question, it says, how can we select apps which are safe?
How can we select apps which are safe? About apps, I cannot say confidently, but if you want to see whether any website is secure or not, or whether any link is secure or not, for that there is one website. You may note down name of the website, that is www.totalvirus.com or virustotal.com, totalvirus.com. So if you upload any link in that particular website, or if you upload any particular IP address of the website, then it gives the complete details, whether that website is secure or not, whether that link which you have received is safe or not, or whether any file is secure or not. Similarly, if there is any app, in that case, that link of the app can be put. So there are certain softwares also, like this virustotal.com, which can be helpful. And most of the apps, actually, whenever we want to download app, first of all, they will ask permission for your camera, permission for your contacts, right? There is no any app which doesn't ask for permission for camera, location, etc. And we have to agree upon all these things. Otherwise, we are not in a position to install the app. And once we give the position, then already our data is gone. Though it is not misused, but it is gone in the custody, to the position of the other person.
So the next question, it says that, sir, how to get the link of breach data information, which you have mentioned, like Air India, Zomato, etc., may be helpful in cyber investigation.
How to get the link of breached data information which you have mentioned, like Air India, Zomato, etc., may be helpful in cyber investigation. I'm not clear about this question. Can you elaborate it more?
Namaste, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, who is this? Yes, Prasanna Kumar.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, actually, sir, what you have mentioned in the data breach case study, sir, the contact number, email ID, mobile number, everything is breached, sir. So, if I will get the link of the breached information, then it will be helpful in our cybercrime investigation. As I have been working in the cyber cell in Odisha, so it may be helpful, sir. If you have any link, kindly share privately, sir. It's my request.
No, I don't have any link because see, I am also a professor of cyber law, and there are two things: cyber law and cyber security. Cyber security is a different aspect which talks about securing computer system or computer network. And as being a ordinary person, I don't have the access to all these links, etc. But if you want to see personally whether your any personal information, whether it has been compromised, your mobile number, whether it has been compromised anywhere, then there is one website also that I will text it in the chat box. The name of that website is Have I Been Pawned, etc. You click, you go to that website, you can enter your mobile number, etc. and you will see that whether your any data has been compromised or not, and how many times it has been compromised. It will also give the details.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the information.
It's good to see you that you are working in cyber cell, as the cyber cell are putting lot of efforts, and you people are having a technical knowledge more than the police officers, more than the professors, because you are the person who can retrieve the deleted data from the mobile phone as well as from the laptop, because you have the softwares. And we, like ordinary people, who don't have the ability or access to all this. Next question.
So next question, it says that please explain entering into our bank account safely through internet once again.
Explain the entering into our bank account safely through internet once again. Okay. Now, if you are the customer of, if your account in SBI, then you should remember, I said that you should remember the internet protocol address. Now, what is the IP address of SBI? Can any student tell me? You can unmute or you can just text in the chat box. What is the correct IP address of SBI banking? Because that is the cyber hygiene, that is the need of the hour. You should remember it. Yes, any student? What is the correct IP address of SBI?
I don't know the IP address, but I know the address, sir, URL. SBI.co.in, sir. Or
SBI.
SBIonline.co.in, sir.
SBIonline.co.in.
Sir.
Or it is a online SBI.
It is HTTPS online SBI.com.
Deepak Kumar Naik, what you are saying?
Sir, the authenticated URL of State Bank is https://www.online.sbi, not
Yes.
SBI online.
Yes, that is what. That's why I asked. That is, it is a online SBI.com. So you should remember it, and instead of typing it in Google, you should directly type it in that address bar, right? So that you don't reach to any other website which has been created by cyber criminal. But no any instances have happened as such where the data of SBI or fake website has been created till now. Okay,
Yes.
so
We are having,
if you have any more questions, you can just drop a mail to me, right? I will try to answer.
okay, so we are having like the last question in the chat box, if you have time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Please go.
it says, sir, which is the best internet security for computer?
Which is the best internet security for computers? Security antivirus software you can use. There are no any best or like a bad. Any good antivirus software that you can use. Fine.
I say, ma'am, come, ma'am.
Watching, you can offer the vote of thanks. Thank you, Professor.